Hi, YouTube. How is it going? I'm super excited to be here and to talk about Amway again today. Hope everyone's having a really good weekend. I was just watching oh my God, Florida Panthers versus Boston Bruins game, and if anyone was doing the NHL bracket challenge, like this one's a bracket buster for sure because they're in game 7 and when I left, it was 2-1. And my husband is working on one of his bikes, like his bicycles, and he's listening to it while he's working. And so while we're playing, if it's okay, I'm going to periodically check my phone to see if anything exciting happens. It's really crazy. This is a couple bracket busters. Like Seattle and Colorado could not go the way I assumed. And I said Tampa Bay would win over the Leafs because I just think Tampa's a better team. And they won. Like the Leafs won for the first time in 19 years, right? Okay, let's keep going. Hi, Heather. I see you broke 350. Yeah, thank you, Love Panic. That's pretty cool that many people like subscribed to me at one point. And I think at some point, during my YouTube time, I would think it'd be really cool if I hit 500 and then I can just stay at 500 forever. But I think like my long-term goal is 500. I think that's a cool number. Hi, Heather. Happy Sunday. Hi, Lisa. Hi, La Panic. Here we are in the same live again. That's funny. And then, oh, hi, Monica. I just like totally skipped over you. Hi, Monica. It's so nice to see you. Thank you for coming. Oh my goodness, friends are here. How cool. Hi, Amanda. And then Monica's waving at everybody. Yep, lots of lives today. Yeah, I was really busy. I wish I could have caught, like, I saw Julie Anderson was live and then DC was live, and I wanted to watch all of them, but I couldn't. We were doing lots of stuff today. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday to you. And then people are saying hi to everybody. How nice. Hi, Tatiana. Thank you for joining. And then Avery says, I'm listening while practicing piano. Oh, that's cool. When I was young, I was quite good at piano and flute. And then I stopped playing as an adult. My hair's crazy right here. And I stopped playing as an adult. And I feel like I would forget how to play, like what the notes actually are in piano. But good job practicing. We did 5 hours with Julie. I don't know how she goes for that long. Like, if I go for longer than an hour, my brain is dead, which is why if there's any video that's like over 25 minutes, I like split it up. I can't do long videos. Oh, it was about Ray Ray, of course. Cool. This is fun. There's already so many people here. So, if you're here for the last stream, we listened to parts of a speech from Amway Diamonds Paul and Leslie Miller called Be Bold, Proud, Be Bold, Be Fearless. It was at a Brit Worldwide Amway Tool Scam event. It was before Rich DeVos unfortunately passed away, before Bill Britt passed away, which I think it was like 2018-ish. I don't remember. And so it's at least before 2018-ish, but I don't know the exact date. And we went up until 14 minutes and 56 seconds. And she was just, I felt like it was a good spot to stop, to end, because she's just saying, we want to hear your story, turn your mess into your message. And then she's going on to say, this is such an incredible business, or something along those lines. So I'm excited. This is an interesting speech. There's lots of culty aspects to it, of course. And I hope you like it. And we can get started. I've already been talking for a bit. So I'm going to click play. Yeah. Okay, I'm ready.
This is an incredible business, and it has opportunities to make a better future for yourself and your family. And you heard so much talk about legacy this weekend, and it's really funny. In a couple weeks, we're going to go to Ada. They're sending us first-class tickets, and we're going to go up and do a video shoot. We're not about doing videos, but when they said, will you come up and do a video shoot and then do a group video, we said, we'll be there. Because those are heroes for us. And it gives us an opportunity one more time to say thank you. Thank you for having a dream. Thank you for stepping out. Thank you for making a difference. Thank you for putting up with the no's. Thank you for realizing that they just met next one. You know, any opportunity we can get to be around Rich, because we don't ever know, we just are.
I've said this before, when Amway distributors have direct access to like Doug DeVos, the co-founder's son, or when he was alive, Rich DeVos, I think that automatically leads like puts more legitimacy on their business, and people are more likely to listen and follow them because they were invited out to Ada, Michigan, where the headquarters are, to do a video shoot with Rich. And yeah, like they have direct access to him, and I think that would make more people want to listen to them. Don't put MLM as heroes. Yuck. It's like they put them on a pedestal. Yeah, I think I said this yesterday. Heroes could be anyone we want, I guess, but it's so strange that Bill Britt or Rich DeVos is someone's hero, because this company has not had a positive contribution in people's lives, of course, except for the top like 0.05%. I feel like your hero could be like your teacher, your therapist, I guess. That might be weird. You're like a teacher, an author, a politician, a public speaker, an athlete, an actor that you love, right? Like there are so many different people who actually contribute positively to our community that we should be considering heroes, in my opinion. Great point, Monica. Hope your cold is getting better. Thank you. I feel like I'm generally good, but in our office here, I always have a stuffy nose in here, always, because I think it's just colder in here. I think I'm good, and thank you for coming, Kirsten.
Thankful for each opportunity. And we are such better people. We're better spouses, we're better parents because of all we've learned from Bill and Peggy and their principles. And whatever your dream is, if it's a new house, if it's a new car, if it's gas money, whatever, if it's a charity you want to donate to, I just encourage you to just don't let anything get in the way of that dream. And as we sit and watch that video, we are so thankful for all we have. And Ryan and Reba know that everything we have is because of the hard work.
They are better parents, better spouses because of the principles passed down to them from Bill and Peggy Britt. And how come you're not better parents just because your children are getting older and you're having new experiences as a parent and you're going through new situations and new circumstances? Why can't we just become better parents because we're maturing and we're learning more about how to be a parent, right? That doesn't make any sense. And it's sad that at least the way they're portraying it is that they don't get any credit for becoming better parents. And you also become a better spouse just by being in a marriage, being in a long-term relationship. You learn how to put others' needs before yourself sometimes, because that's, in my opinion, like that's how you are a good spouse, because you might not always want to go out and pick them up at 1 a.m. at the airport, or you might not want to stay up all night with them to help them finish a big paper for school. But if you're in a relationship, an equal relationship, then sometimes you have to do things you don't want to do. And you learn that just by being in said relationship. Growing up with an MLM parent, this makes me so angry. It's all lies. Yep. Assuming that you can't be a good parent unless you're in Amway, even though we've heard all over YouTube anecdotal evidence that if you are, you are technically at home with your children if you're in an MLM, but chances are your face is in your phone because of the extreme pressure you're facing from your upline. That's a great point. What? They learned all of that by following an MLM? Yeah, I completely agree.
Work that especially their father has put in, but that we work together, that we're thankful to Rich and Jay and Bill and Peggy. But I sat there and watched that beach clip, and that's just those childhood days, the summer days of childhood. And we work hard in this business, but they work hard all year in school so that they can have those 3 months at the beach. And it's just whatever rewards you're looking for, it's worth it. And we just encourage you to stay fast on those rewards. And and as we're talking about next generations, I mean, we're so thankful for all that we're able to maybe teach our children, not so much by what we say, but by what we do. And they're
You can be a good role model for your child and not be in Amway. You don't have to be with your child every second in order to be a good parent and a good role model. We've talked about this before, that not every parent has the privilege of not having to work 24/7. Not every parent has the ability to run off to get their kid to a baseball practice if they don't have a flexible work arrangement or an understanding boss. And if a parent is not there all the time, but the child knows why they're working so hard and knows that their parents' hard work is what makes sure that they're safe and fed and warm and clothed. And I feel like once kids grow up a little bit, they would understand why their parents can't be there all the time and they would be okay with it. That's just my opinion. But yeah, I think the idea that you can only be good role models for your parents if you're in an MLM is very, very backwards. So be good role models as parents. Only if you're in an MLM, that's backwards, and that's a harmful thing to say, I think. You have to thank the MLM for every aspect of your life, regardless of your own effort or outside success. Yes. And being a better spouse could just be from growing up, right? Getting older and having new experiences. MLM reps seem to always give their credit for everything good in their life to the MLM and or their coach. Yes. Perfect point, Lisa. I learned that MLM destroys lives. Not every child gets to go to the beach. Some children don't get to do things because there's no money, because the MLM took it all, though the parent is working hard. Great point, Kirsten. Great point. You don't have to be glued to them 24/7. They need their space. Yes. Yes. So if you are a parent and you can't go to your children's sports games, but when you are able to be home, you are engaged and present with your child, that's the best you can do. And you're still doing an amazing, brilliant job. My parents were and are great role models for me, and they both worked full time, and they still do. But my dad works from home. Same, same. My parents both worked very hard in their jobs, advanced in their careers, and they were fantastic role models. Great points, guys. I think the conversations in the Amway streams are just the best. I think the insights in the chat are great. Keep them coming. Let's go. Oh, Liv Panic has a comment. Amway, especially because they target couples. This makes it easier to credit all success to the MLM. Yes. Great point. Love it.
Leaders. They're leaders in their school. They're leaders among their friends. And we are enjoying our house that we got a few years ago. But Ryan turned 15 last week. I don't know how it happened, but I guess I blinked one too many times. But he turned 15, and we had 4 of his buddies over, and they've known each other since kindergarten. And Reba's right there in the middle of it. But just coming in, it's just funny to listen to them. And as they're walking up the steps from the garage, his one friend says, Ryan, I'm just going to tell you right now, I love your house. And the next break we're getting, we're all coming here. And then as they're walking in, they're like, no, we're going to spend next summer here. And so it's just fun to just open up your home and feed those teenage boys every 3 hours. I was kidding them. I said, you're like sweet little babies. You have to eat every 3 hours, and you never sleep. So, but they're just a great group of boys. And we're just thankful that they can make those right choices because of the examples that they've had. But Paul's been doing this.
Why are you crediting Amway to the fact that your children's friends like your house? That doesn't make sense. Where is the connection there? Like, is it Amway's doing? Maybe it is, because with your Amway money, you were able to get a big house that your son's friends want to go to because it's big and beautiful and they want to spend their summer there. And that could only happen because of Amway. It's not like you can have a nice family home with a nice backyard that's not worth $1 million and your son's friends aren't going to want to go. You can only open up your home to your son's friends if you're in Amway. No way. It's just the big difference between the top of the pyramid versus those who are on the bottom. People on the bottom of Amway can't afford a massive house for their family and their kids' friends. They still use the "we retire at 30" recruiting tactic. I hear so many stories of people approached by Amway hunts using this tactic, saying we are young, we retire at 30. Retiring means you don't have a job or you like no, that's not necessarily true because I've known people who retire from their profession and then work part-time somewhere. Like that's different, I guess, but they're just changing jobs. Like they quit their teaching job to lose money in Amway. It's not the same thing, right? This is all humble bragging and it's all credited to Amway. Yes, great points.
Study, and we get a kick. We kind of chuckle because we have this wonderful lifestyle we're blessed with, but we still get up at 5:45 every morning for Ryan and Reba's rut, which is their job, their school. But then we go back, take a nap.
Did you say you get up at 5:45 for Ryan and the second child's rut? Which is their schooling, their rut? That's weird. That's weird. What are you talking about?
So don't feel so sorry for us. But
I'm sorry, I'm just keeping an eye on the big game between the Florida Panthers and Boston Bruins because I did say that like the Bruins are going to win this one in the bracket challenge, obviously, but like it's game 7, it's 3-2, and there's 15 minutes and 9 seconds left in the game. 3-2 for the Bruins, so hopefully the Panthers win. I would love to see them win, although I don't really care that much, but okay. Which is so weird. It's framed all wholesome. Yeah. Great point. I'm about to retire in 3 years, but I need to reach 20 years to keep my benefits. Oh, interesting. The top biggest scam in history. Yes, Mark. And nice to see you. Thanks for coming, Mark.
He has to get up at 5 a.m. for this Bible study once a week, which of course means we're both up at 5 a.m. But he likes to go by and get all the biscuits for all the guys, and the Bible study starts at 6. And so I was telling Ryan and Reba one morning on the way to school, I was explaining to them the Bible study and some of the things that Paul has shared with me about what's going on, and it's really helping men become the best that they can be, because these men don't get it like we get it 24/7 in this business. So they're doing this Bible study, and it's about 4 months long. It's a lot of 6 a.m.s, a lot of 5 a.m.s. But their discussion is all the things that men come into adulthood with, the baggage they come into, the luggage that they come into from their past, and just getting past that so that they can become better men. And Ryan was like, well, what do you mean by that? And I said, well, some of them may have had, their father might have been harsh with their words, and they might have a poor self-image as an adult. So they need to overcome that so that they can go on and be a better person. Or maybe their dad was never there when they were growing up, and he was never involved in their sports, or never played ball with them, or never was there to just encourage them and help him. And from the back seat, Ryan said, well, I'm glad I'll never have that baggage, because Dad's the best. And
So the Paul runs a Bible study for young men to help them overcome their baggage of maybe a father figure who was a little bit rude to them, or them like the father's not going to the sports games. And you don't need to be in Amway. You don't need to be your own boss in order to be present for your children. We've already talked about that. There are many different ways to be a fantastic parent. For some, it doesn't always mean that you are able to go to every single little thing. Maybe it means when you get home at 6, you spend all your time with your children and you help them with homework, you play with them, you watch a movie with them, you hang out with them, and like help them get into bed, right? Like for some, it could mean that you're able to go to every game. For others, it could mean something different depending on our circumstances. And why in these MLMs, the only way to be the perfect parent is to be by their side constantly, being able to go to every single game, every appointment, and never miss anything, because it's not real life. You can't always have both parents with you at every single appointment. I hate that. And then like her son Ryan goes, oh, well, I never had to deal with that I'll never have to deal with that baggage because my dad's the best. It's like, it's great that he's such a great father, but you don't need to be in Amway to be a good father. I missed a bunch of comments. Oh, hey, nice to see you. What do you think is a bigger scam, Amway or the Tools scam? I think the Tools is a bigger scam than what Amway is. Yep. Sadly, most of the anti-MLMers miss the tools. Yep, because it's kind of hidden. There's not a whole lot of like information out there, you know? 6 a.m. Bible study, way to torture your kid. The Bible study is not for the children. It's for young men who are going through things. So it's not for the children. Okay. I'm retired from my full-time job. Now I just have a part-time job. I'm told that semi-retired is the correct term for my status. Yeah, like semi-retired, say you work full-time in a hospital and then you still want to do some kind of work, so you have structure while you're retired, right? And so then you might work like 2 days a week in the library. I know lots of people who do that. I know Marco tried to explain this tool scam, but I still don't understand what it is. Ban live export. If you are still here, you can leave a comment. Tool scam, like there are big Amway uplines who are near the top of the pyramid who open up their own Amway educational companies. And in these companies, there are products and resources for Amway independent business owners. And these could be like CDs, books, there's functions as well, like events, and the price tags for these products are outrageously high, and evidence has shown that the people who are at the very top, they make tons of money in Amway, but they actually end up making more money from their tool scam companies than they do with like their Amway downline. And it's kind of like a scam within a scam. The most recent another tool scam video we watched with Doug DeVos, it was with a company named Crador Global that spread out in like 10 different countries. It was crazy. And these companies are massive and they have thousands and thousands of people purchasing products monthly. And it's huge. It's a huge scam. Yeah, and Mark just said 95% of the money is made from the tools. Yes. Mark, you're still here. Did I explain that well? Do you have anything else to add to the like high level description of what the tool scam is? Please add to it Mark, or Ban Live Export, or anyone else who is still here who would be able to explain it better. I'm late. What did I miss? We're just talking about a speech with Paul and Leslie Miller at an Amway tool scam company event. The irony, once again, the top of the pyramid versus the lower. Lisa, I went part-time as well you want part-time as well when you retire from the Navy. Interesting. Okay. Similar to coaching, like selling training. Yep. Making money selling the coaching or tools to supposedly help you. Yep. Yeah, and the products that these companies sell are very similar to what you'll see MLM coaches sell. It's like Amway books, Amway CDs, events that you have to go to if you want to have success in Amway. Yes, Heather, always spot on. Okay, good. Thank you. I appreciate that. I hope that was a reasonable definition. It's something that like I know what it is, but like it's kind of hard to explain. Okay, let's keep going.
And we say, thank you, Bill and Peggy. But he is incredible, and every day is exciting at our house. We're glad you're not.
And BWW, which is here, is Bill and Peggy Britt's Amway tool scam company. And like people in Bill's downline are like affiliated with that company, and they would purchase products from Bill's company.
Not there to experience it, but every day is exciting at our house, and we serve each other, and we love to serve each other, and we communicate with each other, and we make sure that we're on the same page and that we're thinking the same thing and we're going in the same direction. But we treasure each other because we are blessed. And so with that, I'd like to share with you my gift.
That's nice. You treasure your spouse. You want to communicate with your spouse, be on the same page as your spouse or significant other. But that's not, at least it shouldn't be something unique. I feel like those are very basic tenets of a healthy, equal relationship. You should treasure them. You should work hard to understand them and their needs. But I think it's framed in such a way that I think people will look up to Paul and Leslie's relationship and think that they need to not only replicate their business success, but also replicate the dynamics of their relationships. Relationship, singular.
Thank you, but I never knew that. Wow. Whew. Well, let me. I hadn't heard that story till now. She just got me. Let me change the tone a little bit. Rocky and Sandy, it's a little story. Can I read it to you? An elderly man is stopped by the police around 3 o'clock in the morning and is asked, "Where are you going at this time of night?" The man replies, "I'm on my way to a lecture about alcohol abuse and the effects it has on the human body, as well as smoking and staying out late." The police officer then asks, "Really? Who is giving that lecture at this time of night?" The man replies, "That would be the wife." Then since since the rest of America is going through an economic time, but of course we're not, we're excited. This is a couple of comments from late night television that were shared with me. The economy is so bad, one, that I got a pre-declined credit card in the mail. The economy is so bad that CEOs are now playing miniature putt-putt golf. I want to talk to some of you guys real quick because I've only got a few minutes. But, you know, the fall season is football season. And I just want to tell you.
The economy is so bad that CEOs are playing putt-putt golf. We've seen the video I did on Your Virtual Upline where he talks about how your MLM business is recession proof because when people are financially vulnerable and desperate, they are more likely to fall prey to these scams. And so I think he's insinuating that it doesn't really matter what the economy is going through. It doesn't matter that people don't have jobs and they're not able to feed themselves or their families. Everyone will always need an MLM because you're always going to have financially vulnerable and scared people. Very, very predatory. That was a good video. I don't remember what I called it. Just like something about recession in Your Virtual Upline. I don't remember though. Could he be any less funny, right, Julie? I totally agree. And hi, Julie. Thank you for joining. Monica, since they don't make actual money selling the products to customers, they went into the tools route like most of them do. Ray and JLW did the same, but with coaching. Yeah, like I'm not going to claim that this is a factually true statement, but I feel like I hear in the coaches like Ray or JL, like a lot of they say a lot of the same things that Dexter Yeg or that Bill Britt said in like the 70s and 80s. And I feel like personally, my understanding of it, I feel like maybe the Amway tool scam probably like set out a blueprint for all of these MLM coaches coming in and selling their own products and services, not backed up by anything. It's just my understanding because I'm constantly hearing things that coaches say nowadays that Dexter said 40 years ago. I clicked play, nothing happened. Rude.
I don't know if some of you guys are like I was, but when I started building this business, it was September, October, November, and there were a lot of football games. Well, my life was football. I played college football. I coached college football for 4 years while I was in graduate school, and then all of a sudden, you know, I found coming to stuff like this was more fun than going to football games. Now, I'm still a fan, but this is.
No way. A tool scam conference versus going to a football game? I don't know if anyone's into football. If you are, games are fun to go to in real life. Like, I've never been to an NFL game, only CFL, but they're fun. The atmosphere is fun. I would not want to go to a business conference over a football game. That is bullshit.
This is life. You know, in football, when you go to the games, you sit on you're not involved. You're all involved. And the other thing was I was still active in sports, and I had a lot of people ask me. They wanted me to play on the softball team when I was out being a lawyer. We want you to be a softball team, be on the basketball league, and all these things that I loved. But I heard Bill make a speech one time. He said, if you haven't financially taken care of yourself or your family, why are you out playing games? Grow up, little boys, grow up. And that hit me because, I was still being a little boy and I was dead broke, paying on 4 credit cards. And here was the opportunity of a lifetime. So, guys, hang tough. You may not even understand what you have your hands on right now, but it is bigger than big. And I want to say too that I love. We got all different groups spread out, but like Chuck over there from Texas and Tusk.
This is not bigger than big. It is bigger than big for a few people at the very top, and especially for those who were lucky enough to be able to open up their own tool scam company and have their thousands and thousands of members of their downline purchase their products and their services. It's not a big opportunity, and any MLM income disclosure statement shows that. Makes the richest story for credit cards. Oh no. Yeah, good point. Yeah. Rags to riches. They all have those stories, right?
And Marshall Johnson and Ray Youngblood, they're like the Texas gang. And it's so great that all those guys that are so different are so respectful and admiring of Bill Britt and each other that they've duplicated this thing together. And they're friends. There's no one-upsmanship. It's a team. And then you see these guys come from across the world from China with Philip Tan and Matthew Dew and the new Double Diamonds. And all these guys are saying, Bill, how do you and Peggy build this business? And over in China, Bill Britt's dream from that little house in Scarborough when he was doing $150 million total for the whole year worldwide, that the largest part of China today is Britt worldwide. The largest part of India, which has been so skillfully guided with Conti and Lada and Kumar and Raj and the whole team of Manipal and all the guys, and Kulan is the largest group, 80+% of India is BWW, unified, working together. And you come into this Coliseum and there's
so 80% of, I think what he's saying is 80% of Amway distributors in India are affiliated with BWW. I love his accent. It's fantastic. BWW. I love it. I love hearing, I don't know if that's an actual Southern accent. It reminds me of one, but I just think it's fantastic. And he's saying that people from around the world all turn to Bill and Peggy Britt in order to learn how to build their business. Like, it further legitimizes Bill's business. But of course, Bill was in early. Bill opened up his own tool scam company. Bill was able to recruit thousands and thousands of people and become a millionaire off of Amway, his downline a little bit, but mostly off of his company. Of course, people are going to blindly follow him. They're not going to question what he says. You are told to, when you come in, that this is your own business, but that you're not able to question your upline, and you have to do what they tell you to do, or else you're not a real business owner. So it's not impressive that people around the world look to Bill to see how they can build their business. They also looked to Dexter as well. What was that the hand gesture? I do weird things with this hand. I hate how they manipulate with sob stories. I completely agree.
Coliseums, and there's going to be one in Tennessee or somewhere coming up soon. So thank you for doing things and doing it right. Thank you for doing it right. Now, you speak English. Why?
Thank you for doing things and doing them right. That means building your business the Bill Britt way. You cannot deviate. Has to be the Bill Britt way. What if you are in Bill Britt's downline somewhere, but you connect more with someone else that's not within Bill's organization? What if you connect more with Dexter? What if you connect more with Bob Andrews? What if you just connect more with someone else and you're somewhere in Bill's downline, but you want to follow the guidelines of another top Amway leader? Are you not allowed to do that? Or do you only have to have loyalty for the top upline, right? Yes, I agree. They don't seem like they're very nice people, Mark.
Because as a little baby, that's what you heard over and over. And you figured out what milk was and cereal, and you started learning the words because what? You were around it all the time. Does that make sense?
I feel like I paused at a bad time. He's saying, how do you all, most of you speak English? It's because you're around it all the time.
Now, some of you guys are computer guys, and what does GIGO mean? Garbage in, garbage out. What you allow in, what you allow to be programmed into that computer is what's going to spit out of the computer. Does that make sense? And that's why Bill has always tried to teach to be very careful where you get your information, what type of information, who's putting the information out, because he knows if you read it and listen to it enough, it becomes part of what you say and part of what you act like. How many people?
So we all speak English, or the people there speak English because that's what they're around. They heard it all the time. They learned what milk was, what cereal was, garbage in, garbage out. So if you are taking in negative, toxic information that pulls your focus away from your Amway business, then there's no way you're going to succeed. And Bill teaches that you have to be very careful about the information that you take in, because if you take in the correct information about your Amway business, then you will be able to find success, because it's just going to become who you are. So if you listen to Bill Britt's teachings, you just listen to it constantly, you buy all of his CDs, you read all of his books, you go to all of his conferences, then it's just, you will become Bill Britt's teachings. You will act like and be a mini Bill Britt, and then of course you're going to find success. Should be an immediate red flag if you can't ask questions. Imagine getting recruited and can't ask what you are getting involved in. Yeah. It should be, you are right, but they're very, very skilled at deceiving people. Interesting, they don't want you cross-lining, but it's your own business. So if you connect with one person more than another, I feel like it's reasonable for you to go to that person to get your business advice. I wonder why you need to have loyalty just to your main upline, right? Like, I wonder what would happen if you were somewhere in Bill's downline, but then you connected more with Dexter, and so you followed Dexter's teachings and you were a part of his company, not BWW. Would that lead to like an insurrection?
People know the character in Tigger that's known as Eeyore. Have you know who Eeyore is? Eeyore is the least excited living thing on planet Earth. The sky's always falling. Things are always bad. It's going to rain. How many of y'all know Eeyores? They're out there. Why? Because that's what they put themselves around. And it leads to a point in education and who you learn and who you study with. And I'm just going to read something if you don't.
Eeyore. I watched Winnie the Pooh as a child. Eeyore is depressed. Eeyore has a mental health challenge, and it's not yours fault that Eeyore was depressed. You do not become depressed just because of you put yourself in a weird situation and you aren't strong enough to like fight back against your mental health issue, right? I think he's trying to say, like, it's our fault that we're depressed because we're not taking in the right information. We're not around the right kind of people. And so we just need to be around highly motivated, intelligent people who want to succeed in their Amway business. And then we won't be an Eeyore anymore. Then we won't be depressed anymore. And I hate that. And it makes it seem like it's your fault too. And I don't know. I'm kind of going in circles. Does that make sense? Does that make sense what I'm saying? Can't believe they are mocking poor Eeyore, right? Right? And I learned, like, from a young age, Eeyore has a mental health issue. It's not his fault. And I feel like that's kind of insinuating too that if you're not like deeply ingrained in the Amway business community, then you're also going to turn into an Eeyore. You're going to get depressed. You're not going to be motivated. You're not going to be a good spouse. You're not going to be a good parent. And you have to be in Amway to not be an Eeyore. Follow the money. Yep. here comes the toxic positivity, right? Because it's such a bad thing to feel your emotions when they come up. It's such a bad thing to acknowledge that things suck and to maybe seek mental health professional mental health help if you have access to it to work through those emotions. It's a good thing to acknowledge your emotions. It's a good thing to feel them. It's a good thing to work through them. But in MLM, you always have to be positive. You have to push aside the negativity right away because any kind of negative feelings, negative talk gets in the way of your success. Did they even read Winnie the Pooh? I don't think I read Winnie the Pooh, but I had all the tapes as a kid and I watched all of them constantly. I loved Winnie the Pooh.
Mind real quick from one of the wealthiest guys in America. And a lot of us subscribe and we're reading stuff constantly. And this is a financial newsletter. This guy's very, very wealthy, but he writes something that I'm not going to say it's my opinion, but it's something to think about because this guy's very wealthy. When I read this financial newsletter that I subscribe to learn more about finances and money and investing and all the other things we're always learning about, it sounded like Bill Brett. So that's why I wanted to read it to you. Here's a very, very wealthy guy known around the world. His name is Tom Dyson. He says the current education system is a vestige of the Industrial Revolution. It was designed to produce good little factory workers to go to work obediently in factories. The current education system teaches you to show up on time, to not ask questions, to do what you're told, to not question authority, to work hard, to put your hand up if you need to go to the bathroom. It's not teaching you responsibility for yourself. It's not teaching you to use your imagination. It's teaching you to do rote learning. Learn facts, regurgitate them in tests, repeat. To me, that's just teaching good little factory workers. And this is Tom Dyson.
That's literally what Amway is. That's literally what Amway is. You're told you have to act in the exact same way. You have to run your businesses in the exact same way. You have to do what you're told. Maybe you are told to take responsibility because you're told that like your downline is not in control of your business. You are, even though like we know if people in your downline quit, you're screwed. You're not going to make the same amount of money. But it's just so funny how he's making it seem like the education system teaches everyone to be the same, but Amway literally teaches you to act like your upline. They want you to become your upline, run your business in the exact same way your upline runs their business, and do everything your upline does, and always check in with them, and don't make any decisions without your upline. Ridiculous. And also, he's not wrong that in school as a kid, like you sit in like lines of your desks are lined up, you have to stay still, you like have to ask to go to the bathroom, you have to eat at a certain time. Sure, that's not incorrect, but there is also opportunity to explore who you are, explore your interests, go out and play and just be a kid, to do fun things at school that will help you like discover your personality, discover your interests, discover who you are. And like, he's not wrong. There are issues with the education system, but it also leaves children space to figure out who they are. I'm repeating myself. Ugh, I'm getting annoyed. They stole Dyson vacuum, right? It's okay to better yourself and get a good paying job, but he stands obsessed with money. Like it's the ultimate goal in life and never be satisfied where you are in life. Never stop, go higher. Yeah, we can never just be content. You always have to push for the next big milestone. You are right, Monica. If you reach your goal, it's okay to stop and be happy with where you are in life. Yes, you are totally right. I feel like I'm talking a lot and we still have 11 minutes to go.
I consider working in like an insurance company or working for Apple or working for Google the exact same thing. It's still factory work. It's still cranking a handle under supervision. It's still working for a company that wants you to be as replaceable as possible, as cheap as possible. So if you don't behave, you can easily be replaced.
So he thinks working for Apple or an insurance company is like a factory worker because They want you to be as cheap as possible. They want you to be as replaceable as possible. They want you to all act in the exact same way. That's literally Amway. You are so replaceable in Amway. The second you're out of the company, they're going to have people lined up, people on the bench to be slotted in because it's a hamster wheel. It's a constant hamster wheel of recruitment because people are quitting all the time. And so you are extremely replaceable in Amway. You have to do what you're told. You have to completely replicate everything about your upline. We've heard top Amway uplines tell us this. And technically, you are replaceable in your job as well. We know that. That's why I've left toxic work environments because I know like they don't actually care about me. They just need a butt in the seat who has the right skills. They're gonna replace me in a month, in 2 months if I leave. So there's so like little snippets of truth in here, but I think what he's saying applies more to Amway than your average work environment. There is no contentment, that's a hard word, in MLM. Exactly.
I want my kids to think for themselves, to question everything, especially authority. I want them to do their own thing, to be free and responsible for themselves. And above all, I want them to avoid the trap of doing something they hate just for some money. Life is too short. Does this sound?
You want your children to question authority. You want them to be leaders, but to question everything. But you can't question authority in Amway. You can't question what your upline tells you. You can't question the business structure because if you do, you are a broke dream stealer, like Dexter Yeager says. What happens if they question Amway? They're dream stealers. They're losers. Like Dexter Yeager, he's also passed away semi recently as well. But anyone who questions Amway is a negative broke dream stealer. At least that's what I've learned in the videos. Mark, if you're still here, what happens? Do you have more detailed knowledge of what happens if someone questions Amway? Could be someone who's in Amway or the spouse of an Amway distributor, other than being called names.
Sound like a wealthy person to you? Well, listen on. And then she questions him again, and I'll wind down with this. But a college degree makes you more employable. If nothing else, you have more employment options. Don't you want that for your kids? And he responds, I don't believe in work.
Woohoo! Florida versus Bruins. It's now tied at 3-3. Sorry, I promise I'm paying attention. And it's nice when there's like videos to react to that I can like check my phone. I'm sorry if it's annoying that I'm looking at this. But yeah, it's 3-3 with 1 minute left. How exciting is that, eh? Mark says it's all about control. Totally. I agree with you.
I don't believe in answering to a boss. I believe life is short. You should have fun.
You answer to your upway. You answer to Rich DeVos and Jay Van Andel and Bill Britt. You answer to so many people in Amway, so many people in MLMs. The NHL is an MLM.
Fun and get paid on the side for having fun. And that means doing what you love and getting paid for it. And getting a college degree so you can go and work at a big or whatever, that's not a way. That's the way you get on the middle class treadmill with the boss and a mortgage, the little factory worker. It's the asset sacrifice. You give up your freedom and your passion in return for the security of a decent paycheck.
So took me a while to get into my field of choice. Got into a good job, got into another one. My pay has gone up each time. And now I'm in another job where I am like really using the skills that I've gained at my grad school and my undergrad. And I'm very fulfilled and I am doing good work and I'm getting paid well. And I'm going to like saving up for my future. I'm going to be able to buy a house at some point here soon. And it's a good thing to be financially stable. And we don't necessarily need to be completely passionate about our jobs at all times. I think we need to feel like not miserable when we're at work, to not completely dread it. We need to have a boss who respects us and who's kind of nice to us most of the time, knowing that sometimes people have bad moments. And we need to have colleagues and coworkers, that's the same thing. Sorry, we need to have coworkers who are decent towards us and who respect us as well, but we don't need to be fulfilled all the time. It does for specialized careers. You mean college or university degree? Yes, it does. It does for a lot of places now. There is a value in getting a university degree, college degree, even if you don't go into that exact field for your career, because you learn a lot of different skill sets that are easily transferable to the workplace. Imagine a doctor without a medical degree. Nothing wrong with college, yeah. And nothing wrong with not going to college. Do what you want to do. Like, look into the job that you want to look into. It's great. Everyone has a different path, and that's fine and that's wonderful. I don't always feel fulfilled at work, and that's okay. That's why I freelance. And we can go to work and be treated respectfully and do our best, and then come home and then have the time freedom to pursue our passions. Do they realize that the entire planet can't be in an MLM? Yeah, we need other jobs like doctors, lawyer, whatever. Do they want everyone to be sellers? Yes, they sure do. We've seen a Dexter Yeager 60 minutes segment a million years ago on this channel where he was saying the person was like, you can't have everyone be in Amway because then there's no one left to sell to if everyone's already in Amway. And that's a good point. You can't have everyone in one company because then you can't keep recruiting. The endless chain of recruitment would be over.
So she says, so basically you're selling your soul if you want security. No, you're selling yourself. You're not selling your soul. You're selling the opportunity to have a fulfilling career doing something you love because you think you might have some security. Some people are okay with that. My kids may even one day want that, but I'm not going for it. I've only got one life to live. Does that sound like Bill Britt to you? And you know what? I know that some of y'all teach school. This is not a slam on you. He just said some of the systems, but it's something to think about. It's something to consider. Because remember what I said.
Don't go to school. Don't get an education. Don't pursue another job where you don't need a college degree, but that you're interested in. Don't pursue your passions. Pursue Amway. Amway will give you the time freedom and the ability to pursue your dreams. Only pursue Amway. No, thank you, Paul. No, thank you. Oh, why isn't it starting?
Hey. Earlier, garbage in, garbage out. And the question is this: what's your thought process? Where are you? This afternoon in the diamond eating section, the room was packed full.
What in the world is the diamond eating section? Do they divide these? Do they divide the lunch and dinner parts of these conferences by ranks? I've never heard that before. The diamond eating section. Who cares?
Full of diamonds screen, listening to Angelo Nardoni and Benny Papilardo and Ace and the gang we brought up to prove this system works. BWW is unified, and I thank these guys for the teaching they gave us and what they've done. Some of us have been taught one way. 37 years ago, I had a chance to apply to Britt University. It cost me a kit. Today, you guys are part of Britt University. You have a guy named Professor named Kantigala. How's he doing? Have you guys that have been to college ever had a professor? Ever had a professor that's impacted your life like Kantigala has? I've
had professors that have impacted my life that have taught me invaluable lessons, have opened my mind up to new areas, new knowledge that I didn't even know existed, that helped introduce me to an academic passion. So you can have professors who are highly influential in your life. Brit University, oh gag me. Yeah, I want him to get through the whole thing and then I'll talk about it.
Visiting lecturer in Brit University. His name is Kumar, and there's nobody like Kumar. I'm going to tell you now. We got a guy who's a double PhD who lectures constantly all over the world. His name is Raj Shah, and he's a better teacher than any I ever had at my university. We got a head football coach at the university named Taylor. Got a head basketball coach named Joel Griffin. And the dean of women is incredible, Rocky Covington.
Why is Rocky Covington the dean of women? That's so weird. Why do you need a dean of women, sir? And yeah, they're just turning the Brit downline BWW into a university. And at first I was like, wait, what? Brit University? Is that a thing? I'm going to Google it. And then I realized, no, he's just turning like the Brit downline into a fake university to make it seem more legitimate and say, look, we have a professor, we have a basketball coach, we have a dean of women, Rocky Covington. And it's just so silly. Like Melissa said, oh, gag me, right? Yeah. And it's you being in Amway is not going to provide you any value for your life when you're outside of Amway. Like Monica said here, I love this comment. Like you can't take your Amway title and go and try to leverage that title to get a job. But if you go to university or college and you get some kind of certification or qualification, you could use those skills and that knowledge that you gained to make yourself seem more appealing for the workplace. Okay. Quite a few professors impacted my life a lot. Same here, Avery. Yeah, it's not uncommon to have really good professors. One of my previous professors even helped me get my current job. That's fantastic. One of my professors in grad school, before I had any employment experience, was a reference for me for a lot of my interviews because I got a really good mark in his class and he just was like my writing reference, right? Like he talked a lot about my writing ability and that actually helped me get my first job. Yeah, great point. Because women in Amway must be specially educated to be perfect little Stepford bots. I think Leslie told us last time that we have to walk in step with our husband and support them and help them achieve their Amway goals because it's not just his business, it's our business.
And our academic dean is Dr. Hal Newball. And this
Oh, we did a video with Hal Newball. Remember? I don't remember what I called him, but we also covered Hal Newball too. Is he with BWW? Are they all with BWW?
Plus others who are only trying to teach you the truth. What are you a part of? And I'll wind down with this. In 2008, if you remember, the news was full of doom, gloom, and despair. These big Wall Street companies were going under. They're getting bailed out. But it's funny, the little business that your relatives haven't figured out grew by $1 billion. The next year, in France, the people are voting.
Like your virtual upline says, MLM is recession proof. Doesn't matter that people are not being able to pay their rent. Everyone, I can't speak. Doesn't matter that people can't pay their rent. There will always be customers and distributors for MLMs. Avery said, what truth? The truth that only Amway has, Avery. I don't remember the truth part. Do you remember what that's in relation to? I can't remember.
They're turning over cars. They're burning buildings because they're going to lose their government pension. In Greece, the country's going under. It's got to get bailed out. The world is scared. But the little business you and I were a part of, that year grew by another billion on top of the billion before. The next year, the country of Italy went broke. And all the countries in Europe are scared. The euro dropped down. Gold went down. Gold went up. Gold went down. The stock market plunged. But this little business, you decided, for some reason, grew by another $1 billion while the world's going crazy. Robert Kiyosaki.
Julie Anderson did a bunch of videos on Ray Higdon's pandemic COVID-19 blueprint, where people were taught how to reach out to people during the pandemic and say things like, oh, I'm so glad I have my business so I can work from home and still make money. And MLMs everywhere thrived during the pandemic because, say, people lost their jobs, people got sick, or people were just scared about leaving their homes because they didn't want to get sick themselves, and more people were wanting to work from home. So you saw massive growth in like overall MLM companies, but also individual distributors as well. Like I've seen income progressions of Beachbody coaches, and they barely made anything in 2017, 18, 19. And then in 2020, their businesses just skyrocketed because you had millions of extremely vulnerable, scared people. So predatory. Dude, you are just a salesperson, a 1099 independent contractor that's paid Amway to work for them in a sense. Agreed. It's not that deep, sir. I don't know. Their version of the truth is that everyone else in life is horrible, and the only way to be happy and successful is in Amway. And they're not just horrible, they're negative dream stealers, and they're losers. Exactly, Melissa. Amway or any other MLM. MLM is the only thing in this planet that can bring success and happiness and financial well-being, mental health, physical health, a happy relationship, being a good parent, a good friend, having time to go to the park. You can't do any of that unless you're in Amway. The company grew by millions of dollars, but that doesn't mean the individual distributors made any money. Fantastic point. I missed that while I was listening to this earlier. That's a great point. Just because an MLM company is growing doesn't mean that the distributors actually saw any financial benefit. Great point, Lisa.
Told you in Rich Dad, Poor Dad, if you read it and if you caught it, that if you are a person who's not going to inherit wealth to go found a business, the best way in America is network marketing, and the best group is BWW to start your network marketing.
I realized I said boo as he was talking. Boo, that's a lie, sir. You know it to be true. You know that's a lie.
Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, one of the greatest writers in America, in 1974, said a statement I never understood that is the salvation of the free enterprise system. I am so proud to be a part of a group of independent business people that got the guts to speak up when they hear something is wrong and show how free enterprise works. And I'm glad that I've been.
A huge tenet of Amway has always been free enterprise, and they always push the idea that people can overcome poverty, they can overcome challenges just because of their own hard work and their own perseverance. So through that ideology, anyone who's successful in Amway is successful because they decided, they put in the time and the effort to change their situation. But those who are not successful in Amway, they are not successful because they decided to stay poor. They decided to continue living in poverty because they weren't open to the success. They weren't open to the idea of making more money. They make it seem like by being in Amway or some sort of rebel against the system, it's a whole lot of vague, rah-rah patriotism stuff. Yes, we see that a lot in MLMs. In Mary Kay, it was like, buying and selling makeup is seen as kind of a religious experience that brings you closer to God, right? And then in Amway, in Beachbody too, like you join these companies, and then you're part of a huge social movement, a worldwide movement of people who just want to improve the world, right? Did he just say salvation? Sir, Amway is not God. Being in Amway is not free enterprise. It's being part of someone else's enterprise. Correct.
Mentored by Peggy Britt and Bill Britt about lying sideways in the public trough to get off your duff and stop complaining and get out there and make something happen, which is what you guys have done. I'll say this: be proud, be bold, be fearless, because you are different. And I'm going to end with this. How many of you guys the military?
You are one of the few elite people who want something else for their lives, who want to do life differently than everyone else. And anyone else who questions you being in Amway, they're just worried because you're not following the trajectory that the average person follows. So by you being at this conference today, you are like a trailblazer. You're doing something different and you're going to make an impact. I feel like I'm talking too much. I'm sorry.
Military. If you signed up for our military to defend this country, would you please stand up right now? Would you stand up? Every man and woman. Boy. Amen. Let me just say this. Everybody who signs up, maybe they don't go into combat. But when they sign up, they don't know that. They're basically saying, I'm willing to put my life on the line for things that are ideals, for a thing called freedom. I'm willing to do it. You know, there's whole generations that are not here because in 1776, there were some soldiers from over in Britain who would come in and take over a household. They would take your food. They would do what they want to do. And there were a group of Americans who said, no, that's not right. They did a thing called the Declaration of Independence, and they stood up and they fought. They didn't have bullets. They didn't have a general, but they said, this is wrong. Now, what may surprise you is that a third of the Americans backed the British. A third of them wouldn't do anything. They were scared to make a decision. And the other third fought and saved this country. And if they hadn't have done it, we wouldn't have been here.
So like Melissa said, using their love of service members to make themselves look good. Oh, geez. Amway thinks that they are furthering American patriotism. They're very proud of the United States and what it stands for, free enterprise, of everyone just being able to pull up their bootstraps and change their lives independently. And also, of course, the military, because America, US, has a really strong military, and the military fight for certain ideals, according to Paul, right? They fight for certain ideals, a certain image of what the United States is, and just like Amway's doing something similar because Amway is also pushing the American way, right? I don't know if that's really what he means, but I think in his mind, potentially, I might be reading too much into this, but I think in his mind, Amway and soldiers are doing very similar things because they're both fighting for American ideals. Does that make sense? What do you think? Dude, leave veterans alone. I don't like them preying on us veterans. Stop. Yeah. Yeah, but what do you guys think? What do you think about, like, do you think he's comparing Amway distributors to military people? Do you think he's saying they do the same thing? I hope not, but that's what I got from it. I'm not sure they know the difference between patriotism and bloated capitalism. Exactly. We're almost done. 3 more minutes.
1812, they came back over here and burned our White House. And we kicked them out again. They could have folded and just said, oh, let's go the easy way. Great Britain's got a bigger navy. They'll take care of us. Let's just let them do it. But they didn't. And we grew into a mighty nation. And when World War I came in 1914, and we saw the atrocities going on over there, we had to make a decision. Do we let evil triumph, or do we send our boys over there? And we sent our boys over there, and we lost tens and tens of thousands. And
I agree, Monica. But do you think that's what he's saying? Like, do you think that he's comparing it, or do you think he's just talking out of his ass? Because I tend to like think too deeply into what these people say, and sometimes they're just talking. Sometimes there's not a deeper meaning, but I feel like here that could be what he's doing.
1939, this guy named Hitler started going in and slaughtering people. He just killed people because they were of a certain religion. It was horrible. In 1941, Pearl Harbor happened. And our country rallied like you've never seen. Professional baseball players jumped and took off. They ended their careers. They took off and did what Ted Williams, Warren Spahn. They didn't care about their careers. They cared about their country. We lost hundreds of thousands. Some of you today have never met your granddaddy because he didn't come back. He didn't. That was World War II. And in Vietnam, when they started coming overseas, certain people understood about Vietnam. And so
So maybe he is comparing military people to Amway distributors, but also just like preying on the emotions of the veterans there and their desire to be around people who understand their struggles and who like would connect with their stories and their journeys in the military, right? And maybe that's also what he's doing, because he's kind of like love bombing them in a way. Stand up and cheer for the military men and women, and then trying to like, see, look, we understand your struggle. We understand what you went through. Come join us. Could kind of be like twofold, right? Okay, you think talking out of his ass. Okay, maybe I'm thinking too much into it. Are you going to acknowledge the genocide that Americans committed against the indigenous people, that we forced them off their land? Oh, no. Okay, then. Unfortunately, that is common across the world, also Canada, atrocities committed against Indigenous peoples, and like one of which, like the residential school system where kids were literally kidnapped, were abused, were like forced to never speak their language again. A lot of them never saw their families ever again, and the last one actually closed in 1997 or 98. So it's not even like ancient history. It's still very much prevalent now. Yes, she probably would be. He wouldn't acknowledge that, Melissa. Nope. Correct. Winston fucking Churchill is the hero of World War II, and nothing this dude says will convince me otherwise. Oh, yeah. Let's continue. We're almost done.
F. Kennedy sent people in there. We sent some guys. Some of you guys are veterans of Vietnam, and you were not treated right, because there was a third of our country that didn't look at what you were doing. And some of you are here today. When Saddam Hussein invaded Kuwait, you went.
Yes, veterans do not get the support they deserve after they serve for their country. And maybe he's also trying to say, like, you were mistreated after you returned home from the front or from war, and now if you join our company, we can treat you really well. We can make up for the mistreatment that you've experienced as a United States veteran. He could just be talking out of his ass again. He acts like we swept in and rescued the rest of the world all the time, and it is far more complex than that. That, like any military war history time period is. You're correct, Melissa. Aaron did mention this tactic of targeting vets due to most of them suffering from PTSD and wanting a community. They are easy prey. Yeah. Want people who understand what they went through. They might not be vets themselves, but who has sympathy and might understand the severity of their challenges, right? Great point, Monica. I love your points tonight. All of these comments are perfect. You hit the nail on the head. Okay. Awesome. Yeah, because I'm not a veteran. My grandpa was a veteran of World War II, but like I didn't really know anything about what it was like to be a soldier. Like he didn't talk about it other than like a bomb went off near his ear and then he was deaf, completely deaf in one ear for his like teenage and adult life. That's all I know. So I don't really know anything else about it. And a lot of veterans struggle financially. So another reason to target that group. But they want community. They want someone who understands them. They struggle financially. They, yeah, might need money because as I was going to call him Rocky, as Paul said, they're not treated properly in the United States. Heather for mayor. Thank you, Heather for mayor. Heather 2025. That's funny, Mark.
And you got the job done. And when people came in and knocked down our towers, you went. Because America's the land of the free and it's the home of the brave. We have the greatest military in the world. They need our support. They need our prayers. They need us. But they also need you. One last thing. They need you. They need you to stand up for the exact values that America was built on. People came to America for freedom. You stand up and you be bold, because the number one American I've ever met in my life is getting ready to take this microphone. And when he comes up here, I hope you'll let him know. God bless Bill and Peggy Britt for what they've done, and God bless y'all. Thank you.
So he's telling us we need to embody the values that American veterans showcased, like the bravery, the boldness, the sacrificing your own like safety and health and happiness to achieve a greater goal. And so I forgot that he said that statement. So maybe he's comparing American veterans to Amway distributors, maybe just by saying we need to have the bravery that they had through all of those events that he just detailed. And then Melissa said, oh, he's going there. Yeah, because the Twin Towers, that's really recent. It wasn't that long ago. Like, I was very, very young, but I have a full memory of that time and of being in school and our teachers freaking out. And it was a stressful time. And my family and I were stuck to the TV watching everything about it. And it's very recent, and people would have like a really emotional response to that, right? Huh. That was a lot. Oh, my hair is crazy. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay. Let's see some comments. I don't need you to go bankrupt to do all that. Yep. And now we all know how Afghanistan and Iraq turned out, but rah, America. You're right. Like, he's making it seem like it's a very straightforward issue, but for any like combat, any war zone, it's not cut and dry. It doesn't matter what country is there. It doesn't matter it doesn't matter which country. It doesn't matter. Anytime there's combat, it's complex. There are political, social issues going on, and it's not black and white. It's not. Doesn't matter who it is. You're right. War is complicated. What does this patriotic feeling have to do with Amway? Amway is all about patriotism and free enterprise and pulling up your bootstraps and making shit happen, right? You were in college when that happened. I was like pretty little. I was a little kid, but like not little enough that I don't remember. And my mentors constantly change their story. 1 minute it's do everything we say, the next is to be independent. Oh, interesting. Good point. Good point. I like that. I literally went to FED Amway's fall conference just weeks after 9/11. Oh, that's so sad. And I didn't know what FED meant. So thank you for telling me what FED meant, because Leslie said that in the first part of this video. So yeah, that was a lot. We talked about like, oh my God, what did we talk about? We talked about how we can't be Eeyore. We can't have negative feelings. If we want to be successful in Amway, we have to be around people who are positive, who will uplift us in our business. We have to idolize Bill and Peggy Britt and idolize their relationship, idolize how they run their business. What else? We have to showcase the values that our veterans show. We have to be brave, we have to sacrifice, we have to be fearless, just like our veterans are. And American veterans are not treated the way they ought to be treated. And so I think he's insinuating that veterans should join Amway to be treated properly, and therefore preying on the vulnerabilities that veterans experience mentally, financially, socially, or otherwise. Okay. Let's see. The worst thing an American president ever did was done by Ronald Reagan when he gave Amway and the MLM industry the green light. Ooh, I don't know anything about that. Working for Apple, I thought it was your own business. I did not know that. Same. It's twisty as heck for sure. Oh, I miss DC. I love it when she says that's twisty because she's so right. So it's 3-3 in overtime. You can't see it's 3-3 in overtime for Florida versus Boston. 12 minutes and 50 seconds into OT. So if anyone wants to go watch that, go for it. I don't know how late it is where you guys are, but I'm going to go see what my husband's doing outside, see if he's still working. And then maybe I could like get up the game on my phone or something and just hang out outside. But I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for listening to me talk about these videos. I know it's not like the most exciting anti-MLM content ever. It's not like the same style as the other videos, but I think it's important to talk about. And I think like especially the Amway tool scam part, like I do think that the MLM coaching industry was at least partially influenced by Amway tool scam companies, and I do hear a lot of the same narratives that Dexter and Bill used to push constantly in your current day MLM coaches and distributors. We have Denver versus Seattle on right now. It's a nail biter. Denver. Do you mean Colorado? Denver, Colorado. Yeah. Do you mean Colorado? Is that on right now? Aren't they in game 7 too? So many game 7s. That one's going to be a freaking bracket buster too, because I said Colorado is going to win. Ugh. I enjoyed your lives. Oh, thank you, Monica. I appreciate that. I'm going to go live again on Tuesday, and I'm sure you guys know Shalene Johnson. She was a Beachbody super trainer for a while, and she has her own like coaching site thing, and she has a course called Money Matters, and I think I want to talk about that, and so I'm going to do that on Tuesday. You want your kids to question and be free thinkers? LOL. Well, Amway is the worst possible place, right? Thanks, Heather. We don't hear much about Amway, so it's good for you to cover them. Thank you. Avalanche versus Kraken. Woo! Good luck, Melissa. Good luck. I'm assuming you want Colorado to win, right? I don't know. Anyone who questions Amway is a negative loser. Not only are you a negative loser, but you're a toxic dream stealer. Yes, for sure. So this was a longer one for me, but thank you to all the people who stayed for the whole thing. I really appreciate you being here, and I'll see you guys on Tuesday for a Shalene Johnson video. Have a good night and enjoy the hockey games. Bye.